This daf Yerushalmi Shekalim. The article has additional mamash at the top of base. I'm Ralph Amar B'Yosef, which in the Vilna is on daf Aleph. Amar Aleph still. The how many lines on the bottom? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 lines on the bottom. Big discrepancy between the Vilna and the article. The Vilna has like 21 blot, and the Yerushalmi, the article has 60 some odd blot. Okay, so maybe Yossi. By the way, in the original, I think Bavli, the Shekalim cycle, I think in the Zhitamer Shas, which they use for original Daf Yerushalmi cycle, also the Bavli is like 21 some odd blot, and the Vilna it's like 30 some odd blot. So Shekalim has lots of different versions. Maybe said V'yaus. That the Shekalim and Kilayim should start with Rosh Chodesh Adar Sheni, not Rosh Chodesh Adar Rishon leap year. It's good. Because what's the point of Mashir Shekalim? Look, they show she claimed on us, and it's not that I'm a Shekalim Shekalim at the proper time. So, I'm at Adar Rishon. I'm going to say Adar Rishon. I could do Isbashat the Sheet. You know what I mean? There's still 60 days left in the year, and they're not going to be. They're going to let it slide, right? It's to do it in 30 days. So people don't let it slide. There's some sense of urgency about it. So similarly, Klum Amr Yosef Kilayim. Why did they say Kilayim this time? And remember, we said really two reasons yesterday, but one of them is to make sure that they don't plant with mixtures which have 1/24th Kilayim, which is the maximum allowable. The maximum allowable amount is less than a mixture of less than 1/20, a proportion less than 1/24. But there's the additional reason to make sure they can see the Kilayim which is growing, to uproot it. So remember, Yotzim Aviklayim Lokadesh Yotzmach and Yikarim. So you have to be able to see that they're what's growing, to be able to uproot what's Kilayim. If you can say going Adar Rishon, Ad Kaduni Nun Kikin, but they're still small. You can't really see what's growing at the time. Because the Shah. Cast, okay, fine. So now it makes sense. Start 3 days before. But Me'ata B'nei Bava Shinashim Rosh Chodesh. The B'nei Bava should start from Rosh Chodesh. Now that's the Girsa in the art scroll, but in the Vilna, Chodesh is in parentheses, and I'm not sure they didn't put in parentheses in the Ozor edition, and they do it in the notes in the art scroll. It says Rosh Choref, in the winter. I guess according to the Girsa in the Gemara, in the which is in parentheses in the Vilna and is the only Girsa in the art scroll, it would mean from Rosh Chodesh Adar Rishon, extra 30 days because it's kind of a distance. But the way it is in the Vilna and in the fixed art scroll, so in other words in their commentary, it's Choref, the beginning of the winter. So Lokadeh, is that not the proper time to do it? Is it not in order that the Shekalim will come at the right time, the right season? So we should do it much earlier. Why would you not start at the beginning of the winter? So there's plenty of time to amass it and get it to Yerushalayim. My cousin over Yerushalayim notes interesting trying to talk to the He says, Rabbi Chizka Shol me'alta klomar shol eitzel b'nei beis hamedrash. Im yaskimu al shitosan u'choyna be'enav. He asked them, do you agree with my shita, which is, I think, is right? It says, Rabbi Chizka, chen m'sulit Yerushalayim b'chol makom klomar shol. Tanchad says, ein time says shol, Yerushalmi ein loshen sheilu b'aya. It's not a language of question posed to be resolved. Rather, it was clear in his eyes. It's not asking about it and to verify what he's saying, but rather it's asking, don't you agree with me? Doesn't matter if I'm saying logical. So initially, the Gemara wants to reject this premise. In other words, don't think that everybody has to bring it at the same time. Yeah, we need some there. I guess that's so we need to announce 30 days before to get a substantial amount by Rosh Chodesh. But in fact, it's staggered throughout the year. It's not necessarily that we need everybody there at once. So therefore, Bnei Bava Ketaka bring later. And that's what Rabbi Mara. That's Rabbi Mara. on the premise of Bechizki. He says, "But they doing lunch 3 times a year they went into the lishka, into the treasury, where all the machzis asher had been collected, to take out the Trumas Lishka, which we'll see in the Masechta, in order to fund the ongoing operations of the Beis Hamikdash. Before Pesach, which is the 15 days before Pesach, Rosh Chodesh Nisan, before Atzeres, 15 days for Shavuos, before Chag, 15 days for Sukkot. So, and Reb Chaim brings down here from the third parak, he says that that the first Trumas Lishka is Shem Eretz Yisrael. The second one is Shem Krachim HaMukafila is for cities which are in Eretz Yisrael. And the Shlish is the third one is for Babel. And the Shem Badai, Shem Yisrael Chokos. So that's the case. You don't have to do anything early because Shkodesh Adik is pay time because their Trumas Lishka is only coming by Sukkot time, right? So therefore, you don't have to do it earlier. So Amalei said no. If that was the case, that you're right, that we stagger it and they bring it in staggered intervals. So then, neighbor, let's say Elon the Craven before Pesach, at a time where those are close by, is supposed to bring it as at 15 days for Pesach. Those are a little bit further away before Atzeres, right before Shavuos. Those are even more distant before Chag. So, but we don't say that. So that's now it says Omar Lay. Actually, I'm looking at the article right now. Let me see if it's in the Vilna also. But the Rashi really takes it out. It says Ella instead, and I think it should say Ella. Hold on a second, let me just check. Yeah, the Vilna says Omar Lay, but it should be Ella. So we don't, because it seems to be a continuation. You have to take out this Omar Lay before in order to make this work out, because they're too much back and forth. But Ella kulakachas v'sibah. Now we come. Everybody would bring it once on Rosh Chodesh. Of course, there's stragglers, but everybody would try and get everybody to come at once on Rosh Chodesh Nisan. The Lama Rosh Chodesh Prakim. So why they do it 3 Prakim separately? Because it's Pumpi V'Dover in order to make a big show, public spectacle out of it. So the main difference was Mikdash Pumpi V'Dover. Taklin Chadatin says, really there's no chiyuv to do the Truma 3 times a year, but and Nisan they could have done the whole year, but they made it for 3 times because these times are Leo Regel, so they wanted people to know. I guess the first people come 2 weeks before Yom. So in order to make, in order that people should know that everybody has a chelik in all of the Karbanos Tzibur, and it was marked a little bit as the precedent for this, but in any event, in order to make publicity for the fact that everybody has a chelik, that's the Taklin Chadatin. My cousin brings down of the cousin from Gil's Tinus, so it's in order to refute the Tzdokim, who didn't believe that Korban Tzibur had to come from the money of the Tzibur, could also come from the Divas Yochid, and the Rab says it's because the people came late, to show that they also had a chelik in the Korban Tzibur. All different reasons why being pumbi, why to make it publicly, but they wanted to make it publicly, and therefore they did 3 times. Okay. Rebbe how can we read the following and not be embarrassed? Right? It's where's Lashon? That's where Lashon appears. Am I making up that pasuk? No, not. Yeah, but it is a pasuk. I shouldn't make it up. So how will you read this psukim and not be embarrassed, demoralized? Okay, really taken aback. L'teva, see for good. Calling it divleiv. Everybody gave. Everybody who was generous gave for the Mishkan. L'ra, it came to bad. By Sparku Kolam, as these males of Hashemo's name. Everybody, of course, not the women, but all the men went and gave the gold which was in their ears, all the earrings. Right? You say the men took the women's earrings, but all kolam, not just in Div Lev. Lutova, for good. But same Moshe has Moshe has to push the people to go to Har Sinai in order to be Mekabel Torah, right? Because they slept late. But L'Ra, when they came to wanted the Meraglim, everybody came on their own to demand of Moshe the same Meraglim. L'Tova, for good, Moshe Avnei Yisrael. So it sounds like Moshe had to prompt them in order to sing. But Moshe sang them and they saw out. L'Ra, everybody came spontaneously, but the Yisrael Davite knew as Kolam, all the people lifted up all the congregation, all the community lifted up their voices. So we see how powerful the motivation of bad things is more than the motivation of good things, which is, of course, something which caused to be astonished and demoralized. Rabbi Chia Baba also talks about the Pekoi of the Yetzer Hara. Pasuk, where is this Pasuk? Sfania, Gimel Zayin. Achein hishkimu ishchisu. They got up early to be corrupt. Kol hashchasa, anything corrupt they did, shayu osim bashkama yosim asah. Got up early in the morning to be mashchis. Says Gemara, no, not so fast. Very famous Gemara. Amir Rabbi Bar Baracha. Rabbi Baracha said, you can't grasp the character of this nation. In other words, it's an amazing personality that Am Yisrael has, and how so? Because we see need blame Ego v'Neistim, need blame the Mishkan v'Neistim. They demand the people demand the money for the Ego. They give to them. They demand the Mishkan and they give. So I think it's obviously limud zchus, right? Am Yisrael is a nation of chesed, right? Okay, so that's the flip side of chesed is that sometimes chesed can be used ra. We know that's why the chesed has to be restrained by gvura. But that's the idea that Am Yisrael is an amazing personality. That bali chasadim occasionally leads them to do the chasadim wrong. And we see this manifest interesting phenomenon. Tan Rabbi Yisachina Hadam Asnisa. Rabbi Yisachina taught us this brisa. The covering of the Aron is called the kaporos. Why is covering of Aron called the kaporos? So Yobo Zav Shel Kaporos, because the gold that they gave for the kaporos will come and atone for the gold they gave to the Ego. Okay, so again, Am Yisrael gives, and to give the Tova in order that's what happened to give the Ra, because you see that the Bali Chesed. Okay, so let's talk about the original Trumas of Bnei Yisrael. Rabbi Chagai Shem Yishmuel Barnach said, "Shows Trumas Nemer of Parsha Zos." The three Parshas, there's the three Trumas mentioned in Parshas Truma. Trumas Adonim, the Truma of the silver from which the Adonim, the squares, which on the bottom of the kroshim of the Mishkan, which they used to put the kroshim, which are wood covered with gold, to sit. The base was called, and the base, each one had two bases made out of silver. Those are the Adonim. The one with Trumas Adonim, Trumas Shekalim, and one was the Truma for the Shekalim, the Machzis Shekel, and then there was the Truma for the Mishkan itself, Trumas Mishkan. Three Trumas mentioned in the Parsha. And Dabab Bnei Yisrael B'Kuli Truma Zu Trumas Adonim. That's the Truma which went to make the Adonim. Meiskol Yishal Shed Milibotik, who is Truma C, for any person whose heart wills him, take my Truma, Zet Truma Shkolim. B'Zos Shetem Milcham, Zo Trumas Mishkan. So that's a Truma to build a Mishkan. So we're dashing these three psukim as three different Trumas, and they refer to the three different things for which the Trumas were made. So I'm not sure that we're specifically attributing each statement to a different truma. Just perhaps you're saying there are three statements, three trumas. But the Tag Chazkin says tichus trumas yizu trumas kolim midichsiv kol trumas stam. So all the trumas say truma generically. But achsiv truma si says truma si. Klamar truma shali medayik. It infers the kai at truma shkolim. It's going to truma shkolim. Shalchenu karbanos kavod shetik karbanos. There's also truma shev v'gomer zov v'ches v'gomer tchilas hartati truma shkolim. Truma mishkan asyon. Since the second one is going to Trumas Shkolim, clearly, because it's Trumas C. And the third one is going to Trumas Mishkan, because it's talking about all the materials you use in Mishkan. So it must be that the first one is talking about the Truma of the Adonim. Trumas Mishkan la Mishkan. Then the Truma of the Mishkan goes to the Mishkan. Mash Yirtu Yasu. Whatever they want, they can do. So there's a change in girsa here. We may change the girsa. This is the Gra and the Tak and Chadati. They change it to Yaviu. So because it's the idea is anybody can bring. Even says Yasu, what it means. It means that that whatever they want to bring, they bring. It's not specifically silver like for Adonim, or specifically Machzis HaShekel for the Shkolim. Okay, that brings the top of Gimel Alf, so we'll stop here. Actually, I want to add one more thing here, which is that the Mechal Mayim asks, if this possible is Kol Yishashed Ben Libo Tikkot Shmei is Trumas HaShkolim, like the Gemara seems to say, so why does it have to do Nadiv Slave? It was mandatory. And so the Mechal Mayim Taka changes the Girsa. The Offer Yerushalmi wants to say that since it's for Karbonos, it has to be the Rotzen Tizbechu, so it has to come in Diva Slave. But the Sfas Emes, Maseches Tainis, Mishenichlas Adar Mar B'Simcha says the Simcha of Adar starts from Shkolim, because it says Shkolim, Parsha Shkolim, before Adar, from Shabbos from Vorchim, because they gave the Shkolim B'Simcha. Because I'll say they gave the Shkolim B'Simcha. So therefore, that Simcha comes up again each and every year. So therefore, the idea, I think, according to, it's not like Rebbe before. That Kol Yishashed Ben Libo means only the people who had the Diva slave would give. No. Kol Yishashed Ben Libo, every person had a Diva slave. Every person gave a Simcha. And because it's Mechaper, there you go, they gave an additional seed. Because the Lashon of the Kapoires. It's Mechaper. And there you go, though that was Pasha says from the Trumas. Mishkan, which says Mechaper, not for Trumas such calling, but it's a lot of Kabbalah was meant to be Mechaper and the Chet Egel. So therefore, because it could still be going on the Machzis HaShekel and saying, from all the men, because it's going to be Yidven Alibo, Tichus Trumasi. Okay, and that way, answers the Mechamai's question. Perhaps it's a little bit Jewish, but I think it works.